Alright, people. What is going down for the insomniacs in the house, which is practically the whole global population right now of mankind, all in lockup? I bring you guys to deal with some of your boredom. Another session of MindTrap with Mufti Abu Layth. Let me just share this. Whilst I'm sharing it, if alright, Mufti after midnight. Hell yeah, it's with darkness we rise, people. It's with darkness we rise. I'm just pressing share, just one moment. Look at this now. What's this now? Why has Facebook changed how you share things? It's like you're just about to do a last minute thing and Facebook decides to change the game on the last minute. Right, so I've got to go. Yeah, you know what? Facebook. It does unnecessary changes here. Now I'm changing. Un momento, just sharing this. But that might be your thing has subtitles here. So, alright, people. So, what we have today is our esteemed guest. Look at that suit right there, people. Look at that. Look at that. We've got Momo. No, not that monster image that was being sent to children to freak them out. But we've got this Momo, our guest from the Midlands, also studying in a parallel life that he runs from Cairo, Egypt, a student at Al-Azhar, or at least he claims to be so, Allahu A'lam. So we're gonna bring him in, people. Alright, ahlan wa sahlan, Momo, ahlan, alright, have I? Alright, Momo, you're in the house, you're live.
In the house, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Momo,
Oh,
ahlan wa sahlan, welcome back. Alright, so, how you doing, man? How you keeping?
alhamdulillah, in lockdown, trapped in the UK.
Alright. Did you, did I interrupt something? Were you having a busy schedule?
You know what? It's crazy how busy I've been this evening, man. Like I'm quite overwhelmed. I'm quite slumped.
Oh wow. People, look, Momo again. Hell yeah, Momo is a man of many talents, people.
Oh,
Many ideas. Last time was a pilot series,
yeah,
pilot session, so we didn't really, there was a lot of kind of interference,
issues,
technicality issues. So I thought, Momo deserves his own space.
Allah, madad,
Allahu Akbar,
madad.
Allahu Akbar. Why is no one sleeping? Sleep
For
is
the
for the
weak.
mere mortal.
Exactly.
It's for the weak amongst you. Did you hear the story about the sleeping prey? Of course not, because it was dead. It was caught out. This is it, people. Sleep. So, alright, people, I don't know, how do you think about this, people? Can you guys hear this? Look at that. Can you guys hear some background music? What do you think for Momo? Some relaxation? Let me see. Anybody can hear this. Momo's setup has improved. Wow. It's only 10 p.m. in NYC. Where is your watch, Mufti?
That's a good question.
चोरी हो गई यार. Can you guys? A few people are asking, "Where's your watch?" There it is. Yeah. It's right here. I don't sit at home at 3 a.m. necessarily wearing my watch.
The important questions.
It's not like I've got to check the time to do anything. I'm always late anyway. People, can you guys hear some background music? Look at, I don't know if you guys can hear this. I thought, let me fiddle with this. Somebody said, Momo dressed good for tonight.
This is home clothes, man.
Right, so I don't know if people can hear this. Can people hear this background music? No, I put something on in the background to see whether it
works.
actually works. Nobody's responding. Let me check the Facebook people. People, what's going on? Has Momo stolen your watch? He tried it. He tried it, you know. He tried, but no, you know. I take it people can't actually hear the background music then.
No, I don't think so.
So that's odd. So it doesn't work like that. I'm surprised. What if I switch this on? Can you guys hear any background music?
Can't hear you at all. It's quiet.
No, they said no, we can't hear any background music. So, okay, because I thought, let me try this, does it work? And if it does, I thought that would be interesting. But, you know, I suppose, you know, God gives deafness to whoever he gives. I'm joking, people. Somebody said, now yes, nah, no background stuff. Now we can, yes, no we can't. Are they ban? You know, then they're gonna make me swear.
And then they ask, why do you swear?
Then they're gonna be like, why does Mufti swear? So, yes, we hear piano. So you do hear it. What if I reduce this? Is it? Where's
It's
it
gentle,
from?
but I can hear it, people are saying.
It's gentle, but I can hear it.
Yeah.
Well, it does, but now guest is... Anyway, so I was just kind of mucking about whether
apparently
it does...
it says that I have an echo, apparently.
Have you got your mic on?
Yep, got my earphones and mic on.
Somebody said the music volume's too low. It's meant to be... It's not meant to be a musical session here going on. How can I be on the show? You have to message me, and you gotta be interested, which you are, but you gotta be interesting. Allah, Momo echoes. But does he echo in eternity? Is the question.
Apparently, I have an echo. I don't know why.
That's a very slight echo from Momo. Momo, I don't know, maybe pull it out, put it back in. Not the first time he's hearing that. So...
Is that any better?
Right, so I don't know. Well, we gotta... let me see, where is the guest's mic?
No, it says, serious Momo, you're echoing. Let me...
Come on, no, Rihanna. Right. Momo is super. Now, come on, Mufti, you want message or massage this one? I don't, little bit candlelight music. What's going on here? I was just mucking about with the music thing. I can't really see. See, I can't tell how loud it is because I mean, I can hear it, but
yeah,
I don't know. No lo sé. Do you guys feel that the music is causing the echo? Yeah, I'll stop the music. There you go, stopped. I don't know if it was that. It shouldn't be because the broadcasting...
I only echoed when you changed something, Mom. That's what the comments on Facebook are saying.
Okay, because... okay, wait a minute. What if I switch... Un momento. I got a... Desktop audio. Going to... You know what? One, I've got to become like an expert in this stuff. What if I switch this to this? Now let's talk. Let's see.
Is that better?
Wow. Momo, is that you with the soothing, calming music? Echoing still. I still hear it loud and clear. Still echoing, Momo, bro.
How? Okay, let me see. I don't know what. Somebody's writing in Chinese. Still an echo?
Right, okay, unless I switch this off. Shall I switch off?
Yeah.
Still echoing. Okay, let me switch this off. Okay, what if I switch this actually to Properties. Let me change this to display settings. What about now, Momo? If you speak now. Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello,
Yep. Is
hello.
that better? Still an echo?
Let me change it to this. Change it back. Change it to this chat.
So I see if I got no
Hello,
pair of
hello, hello,
headphones. Yeah.
hello.
Hello.
Wait there. Let me just check. Is this still echoing? If I was that the issue people were saying that was it this? Let me put on people's chats. What's going on?
So someone said it's better now, Sheikh. It's better, much better.
Is it better now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think I figured it.
Okay.
I cracked it, people. I cracked it.
Yeah. It's much
It's
better.
bearable. It's
No,
bearable.
someone
Who
said
the
it's
hell
much
is
better
saying it's
now.
bearable? Bearable. I'm bearable is COVID-19. That's bearable. In the spirit of Mufti Saab, I too have taken off my shirt. Vah. Freedom, people. Man was born free. Better. Chalo, okay, people. So, as you can see, look, I've got my mic here. Alright, see, new touches to the show each day. See, because at this soothing hour, I put on some soothing background spa kind of relaxation music. So,
Yeah.
Momo, what is going on, man? What's
What's
bothering
going
the
on,
people
man?
what's bothering the millennials in this lockdown, man? What's going down?
Oh, millennials. But
Look,
the generation that you refuse to is it acknowledge or
or be a
take
part of.
seriously or take seriously.
I think. Do you think I don't take millennials seriously? I mean, uh, I don't know if anybody can really take them seriously. I'm joking. No, of course I take millennials seriously. Yeah,
Ah, Generation Z.
Generation Z. uh, what's the things with the devil sign and the hand? You see, people for you guys. I'm claiming this back from the devil. I
Exactly.
took it back from him by force, people.
Uh,
You see that? You see that? That's all right, people. What's going down?
what's topic
Momo's
of discussion, Sheikh?
Momo's trying to seduce. Yeah, Momo doesn't need to try. Your
Allah.
problem was with the word try. So, what's going on? What's going on, Momo? I've had Momo. For those of you that don't know, is a serious student of knowledge. He has been studying with me for many years, and in fact, since he's been about 16, actually, it technically can't count as grooming.
It's been a long time.
Can it?
Been a
Right.
long
So,
time.
but he's been studying there in addition to his regular studies, college, university. He has an LLB background in law. He has a fascination in politics and history.
Yeah.
So that's and he's been out for several years now in Egypt, in Cairo, studying at various locations, learning the sacred sciences. So this is that's a bit of an intro. And no, that he's not. I mean, don't. That's not a mugshot, by the way. That's actually him. In case you're thinking. So Momo, how's it going, man?
Alhamdulillah, Sheikh, man, how's it going? It's an
You know,
honor.
I've had some books arrive today, by the way. I ordered. There's a.
Should told me I left my books in Egypt, so I need some books, man.
You want some books? Shall I gift you
Yeah.
some books? I was
Yes.
thinking.
Please.
You know, today of gifting you some books. Seriously.
Oh, no, seriously, I do need some books. I'm going a bit crazy. These lockdown.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't have
Arabic.
anything. I don't have anything.
I've got. You know what? I'm gonna gift you a batch of books, Momo.
Allah.
Seriously. Right. So I'm gonna take a batch of them out and gift them to you, inshallah.
Please, inshallah.
Right, there you go. So now I'd ordered from this bookshop in Birmingham called. They're online called Dar Makkah.
Yeah, I was on their site the other day. I was looking at. They had you see that they had the Fuqaha al-Malikiyya on there. They had.
Yeah, I've got that book already. So
I saw that.
Malikiyya. So the website isn't too awesomely organized, but nevertheless,
but it's quite pricey though.
Yeah, but so true. I think You see, I don't often buy from the UK, so it's
Yeah,
difficult for
exactly.
me
I
to
mean,
compare.
compared to Egypt, how like
Oh
Egypt get
yeah,
rich with
I
pennies.
get most of my books from Morocco
Yeah.
or from Egypt, so yeah, I guess so. But I mean, whilst I was bored, and so here's a bunch of them. They all came today, so
Okay.
I thought, look, I'll let you know. This was an interesting one, Momo. If you're into grammar, al-hujaj al-nahwiya, those.
Okay.
So basically, what this is, حتى نهاية القرن الثالث.
Okay.
So grammarians who
To the end of first century.
used, and they up until the third Islamic century,
Yeah.
how they used certain evidences, what they did, what they said.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So they will say things, in here you've got. I was just taking a look at some of it. I was reading something about. They were saying, you've got things like inna.
Yeah.
So it was saying in. Sorry, not inna. In
Yeah.
as a nafia. In
Yeah.
Arabic can also be used as if I said.
That's a shart.
No, not as a shart. It's always used like to mean if or but it can be used to negate something. Like in hadha, like if I said in hadha sahihan or in hadha bi sahih. Now, but this is not common usage. It's like a substitute for laysa
Like
on
Laysa,
that.
yeah, we say that
Yeah.
Laysa. Yeah.
So some people, I believe it was Farra, he negated that's incorrect, and there was a story in there about Kasai saying he came across this guy saying inna qa'iman, and he said to him that's wrong Arabic, and then he realized the guy was saying in ana qa'iman, and he goes
Oh.
and he said va 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 va, and he documented it. And don't, don't you think they were blagging a bit of all of this stuff?
Sometime, 100%. 100%.
What seems to have happened was people in the Abbasid era,
No.
people started to kind of document the Arabic language, and they started to say, "I know, let's resort to the Arab, the Bedouinized Arabs,
Yeah.
whose Arabic must still be so pure."
Yeah.
But it is now like we're talking. It's like 130, 140, 150 years after the Prophet. I mean, this is not the Jahiliyyah Bedouins.
Yeah.
So, these guys would go for the next maybe 50 to 70, 80 years, even up to 100 almost. There became this culture of let's seek out the Bedouins. Some people would pay money, they would find people who are Bedouins, pay them money, ask them ridiculous, the stories of the Bedouins saying, look, it's like the Bedouin would ask them something like, have you seen this? Like, let's say a Bedouin asked them, have you seen my
Camel.
yeah, but camel, I suppose, is a simple one. But let's say there was something uh, uh, like let's say something starting with a scene in a sense, like if he was to say like souk, let's say simple. I'm going to the souk. I'm going.
Yeah.
So they would say, oh, did you say that with a sad as well, like souk? Is that also another way to say this? Is that? Like they would start doing their heads in with all, and there were stories where these Bedouins sometimes kidnapped people, like because they were obviously bandits as well, so they kidnapped them, and the guy being kidnapped was a grammarian, so he was kind of over the moon that I'm in quarantine with a rich resource here. So he kept asking them every time they would speak, oh, did you say that with a sad or a ta, or like is that another variant? Oh wow. So these guys were, and do you know, it's an Egyptian, Taha Hussein of the last 20th century who writes about this, Ash-Sha'r al-Jahili and Al-Adab al-Jahili, and he writes that all of this was really made up.
Is he the one that denies the existence of Ibn Qais?
Yeah, kind of. He kind of says that these were most likely
Like retrospectively engineered.
Yeah, like fictitious.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if I think that some of those people did exist.
Yeah.
But I agree with him that all of these stories and everything were kind of made up. And he was taken to trial for this. They tried him for blasphemy.
For blasphemy. But obviously they gave him a blight and he was actually Muslim. He's not kufr.
Because they said he's a kafir, that
Yeah.
he's trying to question the Quran somehow.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't saying anything against the Quran, but they were saying because he's questioning ancient Arabic. But he was exonerated, but he I think he lost his job and stuff. He was blind from birth, wasn't he? Congenital blindness.
Yeah.
And he was married to, I think, a French woman.
Which I'll say, did he study in France sometime as well?
He studied in France. He was married to he had a French wife. It shows you don't need sight to pull. But yeah, so I definitely, I feel, but this has got some of the debates between the two kind of, the Kufiyin, the Basri. In Nahu there's an interesting mas'ala, so I was just going over it again in this, about like, when you say the object to a verb, like the qara'tu kitaban,
No.
it can't precede the verb if it's in a negative past tense, a past tense with ma. So if I say qara'tu kitaban, I can say kitaban qara'tu in Arabic. I can say that. But if I said ma qara'tu kitaban, I did not. I cannot say kitaban ma qara'at.
Yeah. So the ma would have to be last.
Yeah, it would have to be, because these huruf do not allow anything to precede them. But the Kufiyin disagreed with that. So they felt that you could. And they had the kind of... so there was a disagreement. So this was another interesting one. I think you might like this, Momo.
What was it?
They've got this in Dar Makkah. I don't know if you guys can... It's a bit... The light seems to be blinding it out there. So it's called Ajwibatul Ghazali and As'ilat Ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki.
Ooh. Okay.
So Ibn al-Arabi is asking all these metaphysical questions like Ma hiya haqiqatul ruh? What is the haqiqah?
That's the one I want.
What is the difference between an omen, positive omen, and superstition?
So these are Ghazali's answers to Ibn Arabi Maliki's question.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued by this. I've just got it today. That
he was a student, but how did they compile it?
How did they compile this?
Yeah,
because this is what I'm thinking. And the author or the person who did this says, "Uhdi hadha al-amal ila Hamid al-Ghazali." Acha. So he's gifting it back to the author himself, Ghazali. Looks like COVID has taken out a few people. Because I've been really intrigued by how did this... I've read through 1-2 of the issues, but I didn't read through the beginning on how they got hold of this.
Yeah.
So he's saying that Abdurrahman Badawi in his book Mu'allafat al-Ghazali has said that Ghazali has a book called Jawabu Masail Su'ila Anha fi Nusus في نصوص أشكلت على السائل, and then he mentions this is what Ibn Taymiyyah also brings in his book called موافقة صحيح المنقول لصريح المعقول. And then he mentions that people mention that these are the questions which Ibn al-Arabi asked Ghazali and then disagreed with him on. But where does he extract this from? From Ibn Taymiyyah, it seems, and وَقَدْ وَهَمَ الْأُسْتَادِ. No, he's saying that that's a mistake. Okay. I'll have to check this out.
Jeff, is the word waham like offensive? When people say about the teachers and stuff. You read it a few times, or you hear my teacher say, for example, this is just the waham of this scholar, this is the waham of this scholar.
Like,
is it offensive?
I don't know. I suppose if you're the person they're saying it about, you might find it offensive. Because it kind of means that, it's like saying, it's like a bit like an illusion. He's kind of, it's in his head. He thinks. Right, so there was this book, and these were some of the books. I thought I'll share some of them with this. I've been trying to read up more and more on Ernest Gellner.
Okay.
He's like, you can't really see it. This book is called Saints of the Atlas. And he was British. He was, I think, Czech origin. Sociologist, anthropologist, somebody who's like a theoretician anyway. And he's discussed philosophy. He was a philosopher. He had a keen interest in Islam as well. And especially in the Berbers and Morocco and that region. And he's in this book, Saints of the Atlas, he studies the Sufis around the Atlas region and kind of discusses their sociological structures and kind of brings in Ibn Khaldun and contrasts it with him as well. But I've come across him recently because of the Ibn Khaldun book I was going through, and I've started looking into his theories. He speaks a lot on general theories as well. I know he's refuted Wittgenstein on some linguistics and stuff like that. So, yeah, but there's a bunch of interesting kind of books I got hold of. There was this Al-I'tibar, Al-Nasikh wal-Mansukh, which I thought this came today as well. So it was by Al-Hazmi, Abu Bakr Al-Hazmi, basically abrogated hadith. But I mean, I was just flicking through, but it's interesting. There was one point, this hadith about the Prophet would wait, like if he wanted to attack a people, he would wait at dawn. And if he heard the adhan, he would desist, and if not, he would attack. Now, one of the people who heavily opposed that was Imam Malik. And he said that's not from the Sunnah, and he said that's not true, and he said that the Prophet would always give you'd have to give them options, and it would always kind of basically discuss, bring about the opportunity for for a solution, but he wouldn't surprise the way, this thing, like this hadith that was transmitted. It's called Al-Amr bid-Da'wa qabla al-Qital wa Naskhi. So this hadith that is transmitted here, that so they are certain that Ibn Abbas says that he would never attack a people unless he had invited them first to other solutions. So that's the one, but there are other narrations that he would wait. So this by Anas bin Malik, that كان رسول الله لا يبيت أحدا ولكنه ينزل قريبا منهم. He would wait close by when they woke up, when it was early. فإن سمع آذانا كف عنهم وإن لم يسمع النداء أغار عليهم. And there's many, if not, then he would attack them. And this is the hadith that people kind of went to say that you can attack or whatever if they're not Muslim. And he mentions but some people said لا يغزى أحد من المشركين قبل الدعاء, before inviting them to alternate solutions. وإليه ذهب الإمام مالك وجماعة من أهل المدينة وتمسكوا بهذه الأحاديث. And Imam Malik said, لا أرى, I do not see it, that أن يغزوا, that they are attacked, حتى يؤذنوا ولا يقاتلوا حتى يؤذنوا, and neither are they fought or surprise attacked until they are invited to other options. So, right, but I just read that and I thought, that's fascinating, because people bring that up quite a bit sometimes. So I mean, there's quite
nice purchases, man.
There's quite, I mean, the one I actually bought it for, I won't go into, but I was the commentary on the Tafri' by Ibn Jalab. Yes. Jalab does mean this is the commentary.
I saw it on the website.
Yeah, it's by Ibn Naji, Abul Qasim Ibn Naji, upon Jalab's Tafri'. Ibn Jalab in Desi slang does mean diarrhea. But this is not that. This is a great Maliki scholar from about 900 years ago. So, right, did Mufti flex? No, I'm just sitting here. Yeah, it's 3 something in the morning, chilling. So we're not really, didn't really have. Just went live as it is. It's all right, people.
We're all grown men.
We're all grown adults. So Momo, that's that, man. How you coping with all of this? I know you came back from Egypt, just about made it in time of
literally.
lockdown.
I think it was like I think I came. Well, Egypt got locked down before UK. I mean, they stopped. My flight was cancelled about 2 days after I arrived to England. So I already knew I couldn't go back. But I didn't know we were going to go to a complete lockdown. And about a week later, the lockdown was announced. So I'm pretty much stuck here for now.
What are your thoughts, man? What's going on with people with this? Are some people going a bit loopy? Are they managed? Are they coping? Are they
Yeah,
what?
they call it cabin fever, isn't it?
Cabin fever. I just think of a horror movie when I think of cabin fever.
It's
There was
that a kind of being isolated for so long. Being, I think for a lot of people, it's not so much the issue of being at home, maybe as opposed to the psychological kind of inability psychologically to make plans. And like now, okay, I can't make any plans now. I can't go out. I can't do anything. Like every day, like I know a lot of people. I think I can speak from my perspective, being that I think if you're a young person, then memes can give you an idea what's going on in people's minds. Memes, people things that go viral. You have an idea what's going on, or what's the mood saying, and people are agreeing a lot that no one knows what kind of day it is anymore. Obviously, I can't relate to some women in my age group. They're saying that like I miss wearing makeup, for example.
Come on, you can relate to that, Momo. It's alright, your secret's safe with me.
No, but not on live share.
Oh right, yeah, sorry. That's only on the weekends as well.
These bills don't pay themselves.
We see those heels in the background.
No, so I feel like a lot of time people are kind of like every day feels like the same now, very repetitive. People's sleeping patterns are gone out the window. Huh? I feel like a lot of people are. I think they're gonna cope obviously, but it's getting like it's funny. A lot of people I spoke to, I think it was day 5 or 6. Everyone at that time said, "Yeah, we're feeling it today." I think the first couple of days like novelty. Oh, I'm staying at home now. Okay, let me like talk to my family a bit more, And then you see the memes that say things like, "Oh, my family's actually not so bad. I'm neglecting them all this time. I finally get to speak to my family. I finally get to."
I see. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I can.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. So yeah, but I feel like now a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's getting a bit boring now. I want to go out. I want to meet my friends. I want to whatever it may be."
Do you think this is adding to the depression scene with, especially younger people,
I'm not sure about depression. I haven't really heard about depression, but I want to speak about. We spoke about mental health in general. I was speaking to a friend of mine who Kyle Gray, and we coined a term called urban anxiety.
Urban anxiety. I like the term. I like it.
We coined the term urban anxiety. What we meant by that was we've kind of felt that growing up so obviously I grew up in London, and I grew up, by the time I was 13, my close friend was stabbed to death. So when I was 13, and then also, but this is like, I know so many of my friends have these stories, whether we grew up in East London, North, South, or West, everyone has a close friend that was like been lost to like knife crime, for example. But obviously that was not the incident that took place with my friend passing away wasn't just out of nowhere. It was a lead up to 2 years of like back and forth, running to someone else's area, robbing their bikes. They come into your area. They put in like you either get rushed, for example. But I'm thinking to myself, when I look about it now, obviously at the time I was very much involved, enjoying it. I wanted to be a rapper, but the experiences that I had up until 13, I don't think it's normal for a 13-year-old to experience. And I feel like, and so we're talking about how do you think it affects you in later life. So I was talking to Kyle, for example, and I had a similar experiences. Like, as much as I'm someone who I consider myself pro-black, if I go to London, it can be daytime. If I see a young black person, sort of a hoodie, walking behind me, I get very anxious. For example, but it's only because I know that this person's going to even try and try something with you. Kyle said the same thing. If it could be daytime, if he has a slow car driving up towards him, it could be nothing, couldn't be not even going towards him. Going like not even coming for him. But if he has a slow car come up to him, he gets very anxious and very on edge. So that's what we call the urban anxiety. Like, so, for example, with the police, for example, Kyle has a very, and myself as well, have a very when we see police, it's very nerve-wracking, for example, because of the experience that we had. So that's what we remember, kind of urban anxiety. The kind of looking back, you feel like it was a fun time. I thought it was fun, but looking back, I feel like, wow, that's actually crazy, the experiences that people have even before they hit the age of 13. You would have saw like a knife at that point, for example. You would have been into several fights. You would have, saw a lot of drugs at that point.
SubhanAllah. No, it is true. It's a huge struggle, and I think I mean, what you mentioned London? Would you
Yeah.
say that's throughout? You feel that throughout the UK? You feel that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I
Yeah.
was in, but the reason why I thought of this, because just the other day, I mean, it was like daytime, like 4 p.m., and I was walking with my phone out, and then a guy, again, he's like 14, 15, or could be maybe a teenager, he crossed the road, and again, he wasn't, rationally, I'm sure he was just literally going to walk past me. But because of I've always had that since I was younger, that's a sign of like something's gonna about to happen. So
Aggression.
so I literally had stopped in my tracks and let him walk past me first. Cause I feel on edge if someone walks behind me.
Hmm.
So especially someone like who fits that kind of that
Profile.
yeah, someone with a hoodie on, a male.
This is interesting because I know we have, right, I know hello?
Yeah, I can
You
hear
can
you.
hear me fine,
Yeah,
yeah? Okay, yeah. I know we have discussed this previously,
yeah.
that it's just I'm hearing,
An echo
it's,
again.
right, okay, yeah. We've discussed this previously,
Yeah,
about social profiling.
yeah,
Now, and I know we've discussed this in relation to race as well.
yeah,
Like if you see, and this thing of saying, well, this thing saying that, let's say a black youth, or it
yeah,
doesn't even have to be a youth, a black lad, he's got a hoodie on,
yeah,
um, and it kind of triggers anxiety in
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Now, on one hand, that is kind of deemed like racial profiling.
yeah.
On the other hand, I mean, you're saying
This
that
is this
look,
is this is
even
this is what I said. I find it very someone's very hard to deal with in the sense that like I'm someone who's very because I actually consider myself a very pro-black for the black
you
cause.
are pro-black, you're very
Yeah, of course,
pro
very
black, yeah.
pro-black for the black cause, and I believe it's a very important cause to fight for. And I do believe racial profiling is despicable. I disagree with racial profiling, but at the same time, I find myself almost acting in a way that contradicts that because it's not even like something that again it wasn't something that I can even put on or I can control if that makes sense. It's literally when but it's weird because at the same time, naturally when if I go to my old area in London and I see a gang of 20 people, I'll have no intimidation because I know everyone.
Okay, what do you mean? Only in the area that you go
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you
No, the
mean?
area that I know that I grew up, for example.
Hmm.
If I saw everyone like looking very intimidating, for example, 10, 20 guys with hoods and stuff, I would have no issue there.
Okay,
I'll feel, and
I see.
I wouldn't feel anything. But when the minute I leave that circle and I'm in another area, I kind of, really trigger something. But I think it's because of literally, I don't know, maybe you might not be as familiar, but growing up in that estate, you only knew your estate. The minute you left your estate, you should be, that's a sign that you have to get ready to fight somebody. And you don't know where that fight's going to lead. I mean, 2007, when my friend was killed, that was like, there was 34 stabbings of people under the age of 16 in the 1 year.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un.
That was like, as you can imagine,
That's
parents
a
were on
tragedy.
edge. Yeah, parents were on edge. That was a very much like a time. And I mean, I'm telling you, like, honestly, Sheikh, it's like looking back, it's almost, if I didn't have the memories to share with other people and we can discuss it, I wouldn't believe some of the stuff that actually happened. Like, before I left London when I was 13, and by that time, I've been chased with someone with a knife. I went to a party which got shot at, for example.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like all these experiences happen, and obviously at the time you don't even realize it, but now you feel like, oh wow, that's not a normal 13-year-old experience should be.
Yeah. Hmm. I remember watching on some show. It was about the it was about a Somali parent saying that, well, they were actually taking their child back to Somalia,
Yeah,
saying, well, I mean, it was a teenager child or late teens,
yeah,
saying that I feel it's going to be ironically safer than the streets of London.
yeah,
Um, and they were saying maybe like if this is a particular age group that is most highly exposed,
yeah,
most dangerous. Maybe for other people it's not as dangerous, and then particular ethnicities
yeah.
more so.
But the thing is, I think it's like you have to. again, you don't realize now, me being like much older now, like I didn't realize at the time, but why is it my area will just be a black area, for example? And these are not houses that have been bought. These are houses that are given by the council designating them. Council clearly has.
When you say black area, what do you mean? Like
The majority, yeah, the whole neighborhood, majority.
the whole, okay.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what I
like
mean?
areas are
Yeah.
happen to be like East London, a lot of
Yeah.
Bangladeshis and like that. That's what you
I
mean.
mean, but these are not houses that have been bought. These are what the council is giving. Council is clearly the council has a role in the creation of estates. You're putting
Gentrification kind of thing. The whole.
no, but I mean, gentrification wasn't so much a big term back then as it is now.
Okay.
That was like, I mean, states existed, but I
Yeah.
mean, like it was like you're putting like you had. So where I lived in the tower block, and there was like 2 other blocks near to it. And you have like several teenagers at the age of like all the similar age between the age of like 11 to 18. Several young black men, for example. And then at the time as well, you're removing services a lot. So a lot of services were starting to be removed at the time. It was, you're causing these conditions, and then people have nothing else to do. And then you said, and then what? Obviously, again, this is not the government's fault, but naturally, I don't know why. Looking back now, I don't know why. But people, you start representing your postcode. You repping your postcode, which I find stupid. But literally,
it's an extension of tribalism, isn't it?
Of course it is. But the thing is, it's like I was speaking to Kyle again about it this morning. I said, you know what? The way we grew up, it was like there's only 2 options you had on that environment. You're the victim, or the person who does you victimize people. That's the only option you have. Either you become a victim in that environment and you get, you know what I mean? And not even, it's weird because not like no one else can do it to you, but your friends will like take the mick out, take the piss with you, or take the mick with you. You know what I mean? Like you're the guy, you're the lag. Is it laggy, or what's the word? Like you're the person who goes to the shop. You're the person who and no one wants to be that person.
The kind of lapdog.
Yeah, you either that person, go shop, do this, rob this person, or you're the person who is.
Mark, is this an extension of the kind of broken families, or not really? Did you find a pattern? Is there a pattern that most of these happen to? So, for example, absentee fathers, things like this, or not really, or that's not the case?
Yeah, yes and no. Yes and no, but I don't think I don't know whether it's that, because I mean, naturally, yes, a lot of people on the estate were single parents. That's true. But equally, people who were also in the gang, quote unquote gang, were not single parents. They'll come from good homes, actually.
Okay.
Come from good homes, like both parents working, for example. But it is like that thing of like, again, it's like this is an estate you're in. Naturally, the people you're going to become friends with are people in this area. That's people you see the most, yeah?
Yeah.
And now on that estate, it's either you become a victim or the lapdog, or you're going to become someone who tries to earn his stripes.
Yeah.
So I think you have to choose your path. And unfortunately, earning your stripes means doing a lot of crazy stuff.
What could be a possible kind of prevention method? What could be? I mean, because is this not part of the mindset as well of people, as opposed to circumstances as well? I mean, and if so, what is it that's leading to that mindset?
No, of course it has to do with the mindset of people. It's like, I mean, obviously your environment plays heavily on how you see the world, and people literally just do not. I mean, London. I think people forget London being so big is a bubble in and of itself. When you say London, for example, I grew up in East London. I never left East London when I grew up. When I was in London, you only ever stay in that area. Only when I moved to Birmingham, I started realizing there's areas such as Bradford and Leeds, and like you hear about them, but you never even once. People don't leave London normally.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
So you don't even know a world outside your environment. And what you see, I mean, obviously you have to understand what's being promoted to young people. Being promoted to young people is that the only way you're going to get out of this. What's very telling though, I doubt people want to be gangbangers. I don't think people want to do harm to people. I don't think people want to be drug dealers.
No, but don't you think that there is a lot of glory and glamour to that culture?
But I don't know if the glory and the glamour as much it is. People see, okay, what's the way out of my circumstance? I'm in a single parent home. I want to have nice things. I want to be able to do nice things. Having a 9 to 5 is not going to give me funny enough, I remember being about 13, and people older people in my area trying to convince me to start selling drugs, for example. Yeah, alhamdulillah, I never did it. But we spoke about. I remember quite young. I'm 13 years old, I believe. And then he told me, why would I go to work when I can go into this alleyway, and every time I go in this alleyway, I get £60, and I can do as much as I want in the day. Naturally, alhamdulillah, I was a bit more, a bit wiser. Not wise, but I was probably a bit scared, to be fair. But I think think about it now. If you're thinking, look, that's appealing. That's what you can make. What, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 grand in a week?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you? Your circumstances are crap.
Well, the money aspect is 100% an appealing factor. I mean, I remember, when I used to study. Yeah. So this is like late-ish 90s, so probably I went off 97.
Yeah.
Now, I remember coming back in, I think it must have been 99 or something, just for a few months. For about 2 months I came back, and then, or about 6 weeks I came back for. It was like a family wedding.
Yeah.
Now, I remember at that time, because I'd been slightly distanced from some of my friends, I came back, and one of my mates, he was... I didn't know, but he was dealing drugs and things, and he'd just kind of taken over from somebody. That's how he kind of got in there. So he was just very close with somebody, and that person was going through something, and he just trusted him. So I said, look, listen, why don't you just take over this line? And he wasn't doing any of the actual running or anything. He was just kind of taking the calls here, telling this person, make this delivery.
They call it the plug on the streets.
Fair enough. Okay, so he was that, and he was with me, and I remember he said to me, "Oh, you've been this, that." I said, "Yeah, I've been studying." He said, "Yeah, let's go out for a meal." So we went for a meal, nice restaurant. And remember, this is going like 98, 99. Like this is like ages ago when it's not like it is now. So. And he was like, yeah, don't worry, man, I got this. And he's like, here, 20, 40. And I was thinking, wow, like, you really, and he's like, he had a car, and we must have just been maybe 18 and a half, maybe going on 19. We weren't, and he had a car, and I remember, I was like, wow, how'd you, and so he non-stop was getting calls, even whilst we were there, right? So we were chilling out, having some food, non-stop getting calls, and he was like, yeah, he had like 2 phones, and I remember him telling me that at the time that, oh yeah, you know what it is, I'm kind of, basically he was shotting drugs, and I first didn't believe him. I thought, get out of here, and he was, and then he said to me at the time he was making anything between £200 to £300 a day, and back then, that was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, people, were, if they're lucky, making that on a weekly basis, if they're lucky.
Exactly.
And I was like so wowed, honestly, by I mean, I was also in doubt whether he was lying or not. But I mean, I think most likely it was true. But yeah, it's the money aspect is definitely there, but there is a glamour as well to the power.
The glamour to the power, but it's more so to do with, I feel like people saw it as a way out. I feel like you have to understand, as a young black person in that environment, there's very limited options that not just like, how people, you might have a motivational speaker come to your school, but you in the back of your mind you're thinking, but you haven't grown up where I've grown up. You don't know my circumstance. Yeah. So with like that environment, I don't think people enjoy selling drugs personally. Yeah. But you see it as
it's actually hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
Very hard work,
and it's intense. Like, it's
tense. I've spoken to a few people who, when you when you end up when you're quarantined, so and people are so relaxed and open, because when I was in prison, they were so casual about, obviously, like I would just ask them, oh bro, what did you do outside, what did you used to do? He was like, yeah, it's just shot drugs, isn't it? I was like, huh? Acha? So the thing was that, you see, and when you talk to them, they worked endless hours. They would wake up in the morning, they would graft. I mean, they used to be like, oh, I wake up 9 something in the morning. I work till like 10, 11, 12 at night. I'm driving, I'm delivering, I'm calls, and you're thinking, if you put this kind of effort into entrepreneurship,
You'd have been a millionaire, man.
you can make some serious,
Serious money.
legitimate money. You can, you know,
But what I was saying to back to my point, I think as a young black person, there's only certain you see certain options, for example. So your options as a young black person, you're going to see it's going to do music, you're going to be a rapper, and even with rapping scene comes a whole hell of a lot of drama, or you're going to be a drug dealer, yeah, and that's pretty much, or you're going to be like, or some kind of entertainer. That's like
you
the
mean
option.
that this is the way out?
Yeah, that's the way out.
This is what people are going to have.
That's the way out. That's what a young black person, that's what you see as a way out. You see it as some kind of entertainment. If you've not got talent, then you're not going to make it, or you're going to be you're going to be to get into drugs. That's what a lot of people see. So it's like, what kind of young people do. But I feel like it's funny because making kind of going full circle, tying to what we said in the beginning about urban anxiety. Meeting people now in my 20s who either are still involved in that lifestyle or have left that lifestyle or still connected to it somehow, they are not okay mentally. Like the door goes off and they're on edge if they're somewhere they don't know. They are like, even there's not even been that lifestyle anymore, but it follows you forever almost unless you leave the country.
Is that because are you saying that's because of the drug abuse itself, or because of the culture?
The culture. The things that you've probably seen and got up to in your
I feel it's so important for a person once they've become an adult to change the environment.
Yeah.
Wallahi, I know that's not going to be an easy thing for people to do, but I can't emphasize how beneficial it is.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in an area in Birmingham, in Handsworth, with a certain set of friends, and some of them are still, very few of them I still but I'm in touch with and stuff like this. But then when I went off to study for several years and I came back to a different part of Birmingham.
Yeah. Okay.
And so my parents had moved more away towards the kind of Bordesley Green end, the opposite end. So we've gone from one end to the other end. So I never really knew anyone. Yeah. And I've had to kind of reintroduce myself to people.
Yeah.
And create a new circle. But the beneficial thing in this is, you see, everything kind of starts clean slate.
Yeah.
Like, you can be who you want to be now. Like, you don't have to, like, so for example, you're saying these things in childhood, they're not necessarily haunting a person, because sometimes that is a huge inhibiting factor that not a lot of people can escape. That let's say they'd made some mistakes, or if something, or they were, people, I don't know, they were bullied, or let's say they committed some crimes, or they did something, or now everybody knows them, and this is what they know them as, and it's difficult outrunning a past, I think. So I feel that if it's possible, people to change their kind of environment, to be able to make new friends, new social circles, it may seem like a challenge, but it's amazing. I want to ask that, with this, we're speaking about people, these struggles. Do you feel that this is like a morality issue?
In terms of?
Like, people, like the wrong they're doing, the gangbanging culture, is this like, is there a deficit in ethics? And if so, where is that coming from? Is this like a class thing? Like, you see some people, they always kind of do good. They will try to do, they'll try to do good by people, by society, by. Is it? What do you? Why is it? Because I often think sometimes that, look, I think about the Pakistani community in the UK, and they've not, generally speaking, by and large, they're not broken families. They're very close-knit families, many siblings, both parents usually, both usually working in their own ways. Maybe, when we were kids, both were working in their own ways. Maybe the mother would sew and do
Yeah.
things, and the father worked in a factory. And this was like most of the kind of Pakistanis I knew. I mean, when they're from a rural background, they're not the city folk kind of people. So, but when I see the kind of youngsters who are now all grown up and all adults, at least in their 30s above, into 30s to 40s, that kind of age, that generation of people, and even the ones that have come after the millennials, are within this community, a lot of them have turned to a kind of like a roadman culture, a kind of gangbang. Whether it's not about being gangbanging, but about drugs.
Yeah.
It's about fraud. They love ripping people. Like, there's such a culture about ripping people off.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you know, if you went back to the grandparents of most of these people in the kind of who were from villages, they were actually people who valued honesty.
Yeah.
They weren't people that were kind of in it for a quick buck, in it for a quick scam. They weren't. But this is so, like, it's almost in our DNA now. You know, to be kind of so fraudulent, so conniving, so... What went wrong? Like, I don't know. Like, I speak to a lot of people with relationship issues, especially from the Asian community, Pakistanis, especially. They totally, relationships are in ruin. Like, people, they struggle to find people with good character, good morals. And I genuinely don't know what is it that's going wrong.
What happened? I don't even know what happened. But I don't know, because you say that's just one aspect of maybe the ethics or morality in people declining. But then on the streets, there's so many other, like, loyalty is a big thing.
True. I feel sometimes that is it, you know, is it the kind of, does the factor of the bond
Between the people,
a parent has with his child, and sometimes I think the father has with the child the qualitative fabric of that bond. Does that play a role? Do people feel like, you know, sometimes people don't want to disappoint, like they don't want to grow up having disappointed, like, I don't want to do something that will disappoint my father, that will disappoint, like, is that a powerful element, and the absence of it?
I definitely think so. I definitely believe so, but I also believe, I don't know, I can't speak for all communities. I definitely know amongst young black people, there's something that, whether it's going to be internalized hatred of self, for example. And what I mean by internalized hatred of self is that you tend to, I mean, Akala, he said he went into prison, did like a test, and he was like asking like a group of young black people, you know, who do you think is most likely to be a lawyer, for example? And pictures of like white and black people, and all the black people said it's a white person. Who's more likely to possibly rob you? Who's more likely to, you know, whatever it may be? And it just like showed, either because the experiences or whatever it may be, is that they've really internalized this kind of internalized self hatred of self.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is that they then project it now. So, like, for example, you find that a young black person is more likely to rob another black person than is a white person, for example.
Ah, all right, that's interesting. I didn't. Okay, is that what the data shows?
Yeah, that's what Akala was saying anyway. So you'll find that like someone's like
projected onto their own almost, like, because they see almost themselves and then hate, like, get angry at the,
almost like that. I don't like this image of, I don't like myself, whatever that may be, and this person represents that image, which I don't like. I'm more likely to get issues with you than I will over someone who doesn't look like me.
That's very interesting. I didn't really think of that before. Okay. I mean, yes, somebody had mentioned, Claire here had mentioned about making your parents feel proud. That was exactly the sentiment I was speaking about. And I think that there is, because I sometimes look at my own children and I see the kind of bond. I mean, I don't know what they'll be like when they turn into teenage. I dread the thought. But I think, you know, there's that kind of bond. obviously one which we never ever had with our
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think most Pakistanis didn't have. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think other communities may have had more, but so I don't know whether it's the absence of a person, because I think our parents kind of, when we grew up, we weren't allowed to go out much.
Yeah.
We grew up with quarantine. People are like, what are you doing in quarantine? Like, we've been trained for this our entire
whole
childhood.
lives.
Like, we weren't allowed to go out. Like, we
Yeah.
just have to sit at home. It's like, go to the garden, man. It's like, what do you mean? Like, unless we had a particular place we were going to, like that was like mosque, or they're sending us to the shop for something.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we weren't just allowed to play out.
Wow.
So, and I remember one of my friends was, and we used to always think oh my God, this guy lives like a king. But the point is that, so we had the presence of our parents always there. They were always kind of, my dad would be working and come back, but my mother would always be there, very kind of like strict as well in our upbringing. So I don't feel it was the presence. In fact, the presence was scary. It wasn't there wasn't a kind of warm ambience to the presence. It was more like being, So I think, is it more this qualitative bond, this kind of, this wanting to make somebody proud, this kind of thing? Because some studies show, psychological studies, some show that if the parents know where their children are, like let's say I know my child is right now at swimming, and I know he's going to be at this point, at this time, and this point, and the children are aware that the parents know, that they are less likely to get into kind of criminal activity. Like the data, there's been kind of longitudinal psychological studies on that. So that because I suppose there's in some ways it's like how God can see me.
Yeah.
And then you kind of lower it down the levels. I mean, that's at the ultimate. God can see me, but my parents also know where I am. It's like, damn, the shit got real. It's like I'm gonna get beat up when I get home. So things get like, so at some, I don't know. I think.
But then think about it, Sheikh, though, and a lot of these single parent homes is that option is not even available. How often do you even see your parents? Because your parents weren't waking up to work at 7. You're waking up at the same time. You're going to school 9 till 3, 8:30 till 3:30. Get home 3:45, 4:30. Your parents 9 till 5. By the time they get home at 6, 7, you eat dinner. Your parents go back to sleep. Like the way this society is set up and it's kind of work a 9 till 5 mode. Parents don't see their kids
until it's too late.
It's too late, literally. So what do you do? Unless not everyone has the luxury. If you have the luxury of like you're maybe self-employed or whatever it may be, then you do have that. But other than that, the minute you have maternity leave, being 2 years, maybe, or a year? I'm sorry, it's about a year, just over a year. Paternity being 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Being 2 weeks. Then
that's just to sort out your child support allowance.
Exactly, literally. So which
they go, the CSA is going to be chasing you soon. We give you 2 weeks to put your paperwork in order.
literally. So like, at which point do parents get to see their kids? And where does that bond even get developed?
Do you know? Is it seeing? But this is what I'm saying, or is it this kind of awareness, this kind of, the relationship, does it transcend physicality and localism? Like,
it does, but the thing is, everyone wants to be accepted and loved. And if you don't feel that in your family home, which is very difficult in many circumstances, if you're in a single parent circumstances, or both your parents might be working, you're going to seek that other else. You're going to seek that validation everywhere else. And naturally, the way the estates are set up, for example, in many areas, you have like a group of 20, 30 people. They can, like, you hear the statement a lot, the streets raised me.
Of course.
My friends became my family. So,
of course. A substitute, a kind of surrogate.
Yeah, surrogate
family. I mean, friends are, in many ways, the new family. There is no
100%.
doubt about that. I 100% agree with that. But I mean, I just sometimes do think about, like, what is it?
No,
Is it,
yeah,
in some ways people will say, like, is it the day, like some people feel that the day and age people have got more greedy.
yeah.
I don't know. Is it just that we've become more aware of these things and therefore we think they're greedy, or were they? Or is it that because they had less to be greedy about? Because if you go back to, I don't know, people say, yeah, but in the 60s and 70s, or even before, like,
Yeah.
like in the era of my grandparents, people feel that, oh, people weren't as much out there to con one another, or this sense of greed wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know. I mean, is
I'm not
this
sure.
do would you see, you're younger. I don't know if you feel that, are people more, is there a higher developed sense of greed?
I don't know about greed or conning, but I do know there is, especially the social media age, there is this thing of like, we spoke about it, in your house share about showing your life to be picture perfect. That's the new kind of like,
Hmm.
that's the new kind of like, I don't know, the new social capital.
That's a tragedy in itself, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's such a tragedy. Honestly, I so fear these kind of things. If there's something I fear for my children,
yeah,
it's this.
yeah,
This social media currency.
yeah.
Like, because it's something you can't control. Like, I
It
can't control it.
literally
I
is
can't
everything.
protect
Yeah,
them
yeah.
entirely from it. And I
And it
feel that
literally is everything for my generation, unfortunately, and it's only getting worse.
because people, one, there's the social pressure to appear picture perfect.
Yeah,
Um, then there's things like, obviously, the social kind of, I suppose there is the cyberbullying.
yeah,
But then, and some platforms have taken that very seriously,
yeah,
alhamdulillah. But then there's it's not bullying, but it's the absence of, like, the absence of likes,
yeah,
the absence of validation
yeah.
is, it's kind of causing an implosion. Like, they're becoming really, people take their lives. I mean, young
Yeah,
people,
literally.
amazing people. You think, like, wow, what person's got everything going for them. Youthful, vibrant, intelligent, head start in life.
Yeah.
You know,
I
beautiful
mean,
people.
it's
They're
a, it's a
not like.
shame. It's a shame because I feel like for me, it's personally like a double edged. Because I personally, I'm involved in social media, but I can kind of see through it for what it is. I know a lot of people don't live like this. I don't know whether because I've been fortunate to have a lot of quote unquote influencer friends. I know that like they might have 8 million followers, 200K followers. They've got a blue tick, and now blue tick, blue tick, you're verified on Instagram. You might have all these things, but I know down when you meet up with them, they're just regular people.
Of
What you
course.
see on the internet is not what they are. Maybe because I see that, I know that I don't give so much weight to these likes, or give so much weight to these followers, give so much like to work. I
When
know.
you say, when you see them in real life, what just to add to, what does that mean when you see them in real life? Do you mean just
Yeah,
because there's two things? One, you mean
give
that
me
they're not like that, or
one
you mean?
second. Shit, let me just take this laptop downstairs.
Sure,
Sorry.
no problem. I'll just.
Sorry,
Sure,
one
no
second.
problem. Yeah, you do that. So, alright, people, those of you that have just tuned in, do click like, click share. Um, just wait for Momo to set up, and then we'll have him. Uh, somebody saying I created an Instagram account because I don't have duck lips or butt implants. وين العضلات؟ هذه العضلات لا توجد أصلا. أين العضلات؟
Yeah, I'm back.
So, right, we've got guest back. Un momento. Just, I'll let you just settle in, Momo.
Yeah.
I'll let you go into the room where your tag can freely move around. Right, so I mean, yeah, so I'll just, new follower, first question. What is your thought on Dr. Rashid Khalifa and his theory? I'm not sure who that is. Mufti, who will be the next guest? Um, Right. Well, tomorrow, hopefully, you've got Sidi Iqbal coming on, a great, amazing
Awesome.
scholar. Just gonna bring Momo. Have you got that right? Is it
Yeah, is that all right?
centrally? Sure. I mean, yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you've got it still, I'll bring it live, people. All right. So, all right, he's back, people.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, that was just he thought he heard a police siren, so he had to.
I told you it's urban anxiety.
Oh right, damn. Sorry, his mic's back on now.
It's urban
Right,
anxiety.
so I said, I thought he heard a.
It's urban anxiety, I told you.
Somebody saying, bring on people and debate them. No, that's not the purpose of this show. It's not about debating people. Right. Naz Hussein should be your guest. Well, I mean, he can tell me what he's into, a bit about him, and then why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Mufti, have you ever dated black women? Zeba has asked a question. What a strange question. You know, people don't discriminate. You know that. Zeba, of course. Zeba had asked a few questions. I'll take. By the way, I am seeing some of your questions. Don't. It's just that when we're in the conversation, sometimes it's hard to kind of break the flow and. Right. Okay. So I will be keeping Inaya. Shukran. What's the purpose? The purpose is to have a transparent, real conversation about issues that are complex, that are sometimes difficult yet crucial. And just keep it real, I guess. And today's guest is Momodou Taal. Right, so, and we were just talking about social media a moment ago, and...
Oh, so you asked me shit before. You asked me what is real life, what I consider real
life.
What
do you mean by...
I mean, not the Instagram image, just everyone has an Instagram persona, Instagram image, yeah?
Do you mean by that, just to kind of add some light, like, as beautiful as pretty as kind of... Does that necessarily count as well? Because I know some it's like it's been said that even the model in the photo isn't as pretty as the model in the photo.
Exactly. No, but it's like it could be as beautiful as, or it could be just as good as.
As good as happy as.
Yeah, as happy as. But I think good compromise includes it all. Like,
because good could mean many things. I guess.
No, but as good, yeah, exactly. I mean, my life is not as good as it's going to be on social.
Okay. So my life. Okay, so that qualifies it. That the life that you see on social media isn't really. It isn't like it's all virtual. It's basically a lot of it to a great extent.
It's persona, but it's like I said before. I'm not sure if I've had the fortunate opportunity of being close to people who are, the term popping on Instagram, very popular. I'm not sure because I have been fortunate enough to be around those people that I can kind of, see the wood from the trees.
I feel, I know we've spoken about this before, Mama. I feel a lot of the kind of Insta profiles, the kind of influencer prophilic lifestyle that is presented, it's a facade. This is not real. It's a lot of it is BS in the sense it's there just to get likes and to present that look. I'm really happy. Here I am.
I don't know if they do it. I don't know.
Tea with Bay, coffee with Bay, on a holiday, in a hammock. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I mean, and then you got some depressed bichara. He comes on, or she comes on Insta. She goes through everything. She's seeing all these things on her feed. And it's like everybody looks so pretty, everybody looks so, so glamorous, everybody looks so awesome, they're all chilling out, they're all having an awesome time, they're all laughing, they're all amazing, except her or him.
Yeah.
And they feel that my life is total bullshit. That's what they feel.
Yeah, exactly. But the only issue with that is it's because those people do not have access to those people, so they think that's how these lives are always. But little do they know, let's say the pretty girl, for example, the pretty girl that's posting a perfect picture every day. Every day she's posting a picture perfect and has the best outfits. She spent one day taking 30, 40 pictures. and she just ended up posting once a day afterwards. So to someone on the outside, oh my God, every day she's dressing up. Every day this person in this country. Every day this person is traveling this way. Little did they know that these pictures were taken ages ago. They're just being reposted later on.
Yeah, but you see, that scares me. The virtual world it's creating. Because you see, for people, it's not for me. Because obviously, I don't know, but I think maybe my generation not so much. But the younger people, especially, I feel that they will struggle to kind of then to differentiate between what is reality, what is real. Like they feel this is real, and in some ways, I want to, you think you need to wake these people up somehow that this is not reality. Like this, it's all fine if you want to do it. Put pictures, do this, but this is not the real world. Like people are not, what you're seeing in this Kodak moment of them being so happy. Because you see, we are a social species. If we compare ourselves with others around us. Like I compare, my contentment is based on a social element of people around me. Now, this is at a subconscious level, and people can kind of like struggle with the nafs and try to overcome that with the kind of self. But if you don't, and I've quoted this, the kind of challenge scenario, the hypothetical scenario of the $1 million question with the bag, where if a person, as a thought experiment, it was put before people that if you are sitting with another person and somebody comes in and they put a bag down and the bag has £1 million in it, it's a huge bag, and they say, well, this is £1 million and it belongs to both of you two, but the way it's going to work is the other, not you, the other person gets to make one statement only of how much he will give you out of this bag. And if you accept, you both walk away with the nominated sums. But if you decline, nobody walks away with anything. So now you think, well, that's easy. But you see, what if the other person said, well, I'll give you £1,000. I'll give you £5,000. Do you know, statistically, most people, unless they were offered between 20 to 30%, would rather walk out with nothing than see the other person walk out with so much more. Because, and this is very telling of the human nafs, of the human psyche. Because we compare ourselves in relation to others. Even though logically, you see, when I walked into this door, when I walked through that door, I will now walk out £1,000 richer. £5,000 richer. I can do a lot with £5,000. I can do a lot with £2,000, which more than what I already have. But because that person is going to walk out with 1 million minus 2,000, I'm not going to accept that. Like, I want, the minimum is, I want something like 200k. Wow. I want, like, because 20%. I want to feel that, okay, I too want something, or I will sustain happily the loss of £1,000, £2,000, to know in my heart and mind that you lost out on the better part of 1 million.
Wow, that's so
and this is what most results showed, and it's amazing because it's so telling. There was another research, qualitative research that showed people who lost their jobs to learn that their job was then taken over by a machine, a robot. And their counterparts who came to realize that their job was taken over by another person, those people felt more hurt, the latter people. Wow. So those who lost a job, coming to know that, well, it got all computerized. Like, I used to do this, I used to pick this package, put it here, and now they brought in a machine. These damn machines. But if they found out another person got my job, it hurts a lot more, doesn't it? Because you think, well, I could have, it could be me. Because it's in the mind, it's in the
Yeah.
nafs. You see, so I don't, and this is this.
You use the word nafs and mind, the synonyms.
Yeah, I kind of feel that these things, that the nafs is the mind, in the sense that this is,
And the ruh being consciousness.
yeah, I mean, which I suppose is kind of trapped into the mind as well. It's kind of, I suppose when we say the nafs as the mind, we're more, it is consciousness as well, but it's more so from the perspective of the physical you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like the you that has collected experiences.
Yeah.
The you that has gone through this world and, you know, picked up human behavior.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't. So it's this world of this virtual world that people have now created. Instagram has boosted that as it scares me, and I don't like the fact that this is why I know we discussed this taking away likes.
Yeah. Which I still disagree with.
Which you did disagree with because influencers work hard, you said.
Yes.
And they deserve the kind of likes. Which fair enough, I agree. Right, so right, so the I mean, some people here had spoken about that thought experiment, saying they would accept 10% and not. But I was just saying that most studies showed that until a person received a substantial amount, which by the majority of the data showed it to be between 20 to 30%. There were some that would walk out with anything. But the
good-hearted people.
But say that again.
So the good-hearted people.
Good-hearted people, yeah. The uber logical who thought that, look, well, you know, I'm still walking out of here £1,000 richer.
Yeah.
But most people, the emotions would get the better of them, because you'd kind of, I won't lie, I would feel hurt if a person put down £1 million and I get happy, my eyes gleam up, and he says, well, you know, it's your lucky day, you're getting 1,000. I would think, man, 1,000. Watch if I don't make you lose this all. I would get much greater satisfaction knowing that person lost it all.
Then
God, this is the evil within me speaking out.
enough.
This is, you know, I suppose it ties into what's called Schadenfreude, you know, where you seek a sense of pleasure from the misery of others. Is it? I guess, I don't know. You're kind of happy knowing that that person also lost.
Is that what it's called?
Schadenfreude, yeah. So it's a German term. In Arabic, they have a word for it as well called shumata.
Shumata, okay, yeah.
Shumata.
Yeah.
What is it? Tushmit bi al-a'da, as in the Quran. Harun alayhi salam says to Musa when he grabs him by the beard, that don't give them. But yeah, I mean, but I suppose this thing is a reality, isn't it? This whole yeah, and it does. I think I just worry. I worry for people who I think can't handle it.
Exactly.
I think, and I know you had you had a friend who passed recently as well, didn't he? He committed suicide. You know, may Allah have mercy on him and grant him Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. He was somebody you grew up with. He was young. He was your age.
Yeah, 26 exactly. Well, like 10. His birthday's about 2 weeks after mine, so 26, 93. He was. The thing is, crazy. Hindsight also gives you a better picture, but it's always late. I'm looking back on our messages now, and you see that from around 2016, his mental health started declining. So you kind of see his mental health started declining from the age of 2016.
From 25. From 2016.
Yeah.
From 2016.
Find that his mental health, like he would say, he would say that I'm not feeling myself recently, but I feel like, as is the case in many kind of immigrant communities or many like ethnic or ethnic minority communities, mental health and the stigma is not really taken seriously. It's not really dealt with.
Yeah. I mean, what?
Not really dealt with, so.
Was there? I mean, it's a very difficult thing to even ask because obviously mental health is so. Was this something? Was it of a? spontaneous, hereditary? Was it something circumstances?
There was a few things. I mean, the thing is, it's like.
What do you think was
No, so
factored
he,
in?
he was diagnosed like about a month before, about a month and a half before he committed suicide. He was diagnosed with bipolar, like severe bipolar. I'm guessing. I mean, obviously, what happened is he was in a relationship which fell apart. A couple months before he committed suicide, and even when we were speaking on the phone, he would say to me, "I feel like killing myself," but I refuse to believe. I don't think it was just a relationship. I think it was an amalgamation of, the kind of highs and the lows of his life, like extreme highs and extreme lows. And then it almost got to a point where we were FaceTiming him when he got section in February, like the whole month.
This year, February.
Yeah. So FaceTiming almost every day, 4 or 5 hours a day. His behavior was very erratic as well.
Okay.
He was on the meds. They put him on the meds and stuff, but he got released afterwards.
Okay, antipsychotic kind of drugs, or
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Kind of mood stabilizers. I don't know exactly what they were. Kind of mood stabilizers. But then it got to the point where literally, I think it's such a strange one because it's still somewhat a bit surreal. Because literally we spoke on Monday. We FaceTime twice. That was fine. Monday night, he told me he's getting a haircut. He sent me a picture, a video Tuesday morning. I spoke to him on Tuesday morning. We FaceTime. I was like, "Oh my God, you got your haircut? Yeah, I want a fresh start." I mean, if you had the voice notes as well, Sheikh. You were very positive and stuff. Very like, I'm not in a good place, but I'm determined to get myself better, kind of thing. And then that was Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday's 5 p.m. he committed suicide by hanging himself. So that was that was just a shock to everyone's system. Like, we did not see it coming, and I don't know, it's like you don't even know. Was it a spontaneous decision? Was it something he planned the whole day? Was it a cry for help that went wrong?
We mentioned social media and it's kind of sometimes these issues. Was that a factor in any of this? Was there something going on online? Not really. That wasn't a factor, or not really.
Not in this case. Not in this case. You do hear a lot of cases that people have issues on social media, but not in this case.
But yeah, I mean, bipolar is very complex, isn't it? And it's very. I have known only a few people personally, as in who. I mean, I've known many more that have had bipolar, but not really known them. But I have known of maybe just a few personally.
Yeah.
And it can be very difficult. It's very difficult because to kind of deal with like when these people have a kind of like a manic attack, or sometimes when these people get angry, they may get really angry. Sometimes when they get like it's really strange, and for normal people they can become so easily kind of fed up, and I know that's not the right word or anything, but people, you see, they kind of feel that, what on earth are you doing? Why are you playing up? Why are you, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. But I know it's been really a bit. The one or two people that I have known, it's really difficult to kind of handle it for other than them. I mean, they just have outbursts at these times, but for normal people to tolerate that is difficult. And I don't know how much can they control it more. You expect. I expect, and this could just be me, the ignorant me. I expect them to be able to control it, because otherwise it's very, like if there's a person here, like a grown person throwing a tantrum. I don't mean a child. It's a grown adult will not put up with it for so long. You'll kind of be like, look, you better, I've had enough of you. So, I mean, it's difficult, may Allah protect people from these kind of mental conditions. I mean, and these are lifelong conditions. These are not something that just kind of come and go. I mean, I don't know why are more people like this.
I mean, we just check. I'm definitely inclined to what we're talking about. I do feel like the consumption and smoking of marijuana does seem to exacerbate these conditions, you know.
Yeah, because I said this on my recent one of my lives that look at a clarification on weed. And I said that look, I do feel that because a human's brain is still developing up until the age of 25, and by 18, up until 18, which is the legal statutory thing, I would definitely go with. But generally, I would set my
Advice.
benchmark at like 25. That you see, prior to that, people who do interfere with psychoactive drugs, that they are probably damaging the neural pathways and the synaptic kind of formations that need to be born and developed yet. They're kind of ruining them. And I feel that it's, that they will only suffer from this. And I did say that I feel this is categorically haram for them, because there does seem to be such a greater number of young people who are young and depressed.
Do you feel like, Chef, I know you have this discussion quite in a very jovial manner, but do you feel like, is it people, is it that we're now identifying more mental health issues? That's one question. Is it that people are just being snowflakes?
Yeah.
Is
The
is
snowflake
is it
culture,
is it
the marshmallows.
yeah? But is it that we've got to a time in history where, because people will say, for example, well, our parents didn't have a mental health issue or suffered them, or they didn't have trauma, they didn't have this issue that we talk about, you know. But I say to that, but they might not have said they or knew what it was, but they definitely had the behavioral patterns of people who had certain issues. They definitely
No,
practice.
definitely had issues.
No, they had
I
issues. But
Yeah.
my question is that have we got to a point in life where it's no, like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we're no longer concentrating on the basic needs, that we can kind of now think in the abstract.
Right. Kamaluddin, shukran, much love for your support. I totally agree with you in the sense that that these questions are so intriguing and so. And I do feel that people have always had problems. People have, whether they were our parents' generation or whatever. But I also do see that they were less. Um, um, they were less, maybe, psychological issues. But was that because we weren't testing? Is it just more testing and statements? Is it also that we have a society that allows people an excuse? In some cases, because I know, you see, we've had this discussion quite a bit, that there's certain views and ways that I see the world sometimes, which is, like, I suppose younger people would say, oh, that's just a kind of toxic masculinity. This, like, man up and just get on with it. What the hell's wrong with you? This kind of, and they say that that's, you can't be like that with people. They need to be kind of gently handled. and and I and this and I do understand that as well, that they do need to be, but so I do feel in some cases there is this, people will just be like, oh, I'm depressed, I just sit in my room, I'm depressed, I can't do anything in life, and whereas that maybe 20, 30 years ago, they wouldn't have had that option or that luxury to say that. They would have been forced and kick-started their engine. Like, sometimes I think you might need a little push if your engine, the car stops, kind of thing. But then people might say, but are you not just, is that not just kind of bullying the person and being wrong to them? And that's something you don't want to obviously do either. And so, I don't know, it's a tough one. I think we're in an age where nobody seems to know, like, those who are of some, let's say, 40 and above, would definitely feel part of, they're not the majority of the people today on the globe, and they're not, like, even though they understand a lot of this culture that is around, they still feel out of sync, and that they don't have the solutions. The people who are younger, that they would feel that, oh, people are not understanding them and not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's what What are your I mean, do you feel people do take this as an excuse? Do you feel that?
I kind of feel like some people are addicted to being sad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're addicted to being sad.
They're addicted to being down. I don't know, in a weird sadistic way, is that they really
Like a masochistic kind of sense.
yes, they take.
That's interesting.
I don't think it's the majority. I definitely think it's not. I think it's the lesser number. But I definitely think there's a group of young people particularly who are like, they almost revel in being sad because then and linked to social media, it gets them likes.
They basically want pity. Is this what we're saying?
Yeah.
They want pity from people. But pity, you see, don't people... I mean, pity, it only... I mean, it's very momentary. But then, don't most people despise people that are that they are purposely helpless? Like that they are... You know, like even like the saying, God helps those who help themselves. I mean...
I mean, to be fair, I don't want to negate the very real thing of mental health.
Of course not. Of course not. I mean, I think that's a very important thing to say there, Shukran, that we shouldn't undermine that. Somebody said there's a massive echo, sir. Is there an echo? Momo is echoing. Momo shouldn't be echoing. I'll reset his thing from here. Is there a... hello, Momo. Can you test? Is it? Is Momo is echoing? That's the story of his life, people. Somebody said, "Is he still echoing?" Maybe if you know what? Maybe Momo, if you do the thing again, you pull it out and put it back, just so people can realize it's you. Whoa, that was... Well, I can hear myself now as an echo. Okay, that's better. Hello, Momo, testing. Momo? Oh, it's gone very low, very quiet. Why has it gone so quiet? Momo, it's okay. We're not breaking in right now. You can be loud. It's a bit low. It's the volume. I'll try putting the volume adjusting. Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, that's better. Slightly more. Is that? Let's see.
Better?
Yep, that's good. That's good. It's the mother of all echoes. Is it still? Someone get Momo a new mic. Echo Al Akbar. Is it? Let's see if we get some feedback on this. Now that Momo's done that, is it any better, people? Let me just see. I don't want people to miss out on the amazing words. Does Momo recite? Right now, and when you want them to comment, they don't comment. Momo, can you speak, by the way?
Can you hear me, Chef? Is that right?
Yep, I can hear you. So I tell you what. So somebody just commented, but he said salam. So okay, you were saying, Momo. Oh, Zeba always throwing in some interesting questions. Could it be halal and expected from women to flash breasts? Since Allah also entices men with vision and mentions of perky breasts in the Quran. Did you hear that, Momo?
I heard that.
Right, so I don't think a single man would ever disagree with women. You know, like you get these protests where women kind of remove their bras.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, why would men would, like, that would be just like the world's most peaceful protest. They'd just be like, people would just be like, sorry, what are your demands? Sorry, what are your demands again? Oh, sorry, what did you say your demands were? Oh, I never heard a single word, sorry. Right, so, Right. So that's yep. Momo's in full support of the burn the bra
Burn the bra
movement.
movement.
Liberate. Humans were born free, yet everywhere they are
Yeah,
being held back. They are chained. I can't say chained, but I'll say they're being held back. Right. So. Right. So. That's interesting thought though, but that you're right. There is imagery in the Quran. So what is wrong with the imagery of fine as it's being asked of fine breasts as it says in the question? Oh, sorry, it says flash breast. Sorry, is that my subconscious mind filling in the blank words? Right. So, what are your thoughts on that, Momo? I mean, as a student of knowledge.
On breasts.
I think on that you'll just have interesting thoughts, like everybody else, like the rest of. It is interesting though, from a psychological perspective, how mesmerizing and hypnotic breasts are for men. It's from if a person from an art perspective. I'm speaking as an artist now. Abe yaar, listen to me, you judgmental idiots out there. I'm speaking as an artist. It's so hypnotic for men. Have you? I don't know if you've ever come across this. Not that have you ever come across breasts. I'm sure, but if you've come across this concept, it is very, very kind of. It can place people in a trance almost.
So when you say I was in trance.
Have you got somebody else on the screen there? So, right, but what is your thoughts on this erotic imagery that is kind of alluded to in the Quran? Is this a license for there should be that what's wrong with that after all?
Hey, how can Mufti Abu Layth asking Islamic questions?
Allah.
Come on, Sheikh.
Well, you're a student of knowledge. He's been studying for.
هذا لا ينبغي علي.
هذا
لا ينبغي علي أن
لا
أجب
ينبغي.
أن
لما لا
أصل
ينبغي؟
أن إسلامية. كيف ذلك أمامك؟ لا.
Allah, he's being embarrassed. He says in front of you. I mean, I haven't asked him to flash in front of me. That's a different thing. That's something we've already seen. Those photos we've already got, and we use them as leverage. So, but I think somebody said, Mufti, your breasts better. Yeah, look. Okay, there you go. But I just meant it's amazing from how there is art in nature. How how creatures become hypnotized by other creatures. I find the concept of it amazing. I'm in it for the art only. Does anybody else see the starry night above? What, Van Gogh, or is it just me? So, right. So I mean, somebody said, "Oh my God, Mufti, you move yours." Of course, yeah. Look, this muscles. After all, you can move them. So okay, but I mean, this thought of imagery in the Quran, I think it is an interesting question. That I don't think erotic imagery in the Quran in that day and age was something so sensitive. I think the Arabs openly spoke about these kind of things, but in subsequent cultures it became taboo.
Yeah.
So today you couldn't really do it. It would become a taboo for people to speak like that. But in ancient Arabia it was kind of fine. So somebody said it was written by men for men. Men would get it. They're like, don't worry, men will get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure women get what men get. But what is interesting, Momo, is the difference between a sense of humor between men and women. What do you think, Melmo?
Okay, that's very.
There is
I
a
don't understand
difference. Do you not
Yeah,
feel
it
there's a
is,
difference between
No,
men and
there is.
women's sense of humor?
Definitely.
Now, what do you feel that difference is?
To say that publicly.
Let me get that out of you as well whilst you're...
I don't think I'm ready to say that publicly.
But, I mean, like, so for example, let's say your girly friends, or
Yeah.
as in not girlfriends, but female friends,
Yeah.
who would share some jokes with you. Often, you probably won't find them as funny, or do you find them funny? Or...
I don't find them, if I'm honest with you, I don't find them funny.
Now, why do I find that funny? You evil misogynist. Momo the misogynist. So, okay, why not? Why don't you find it funny, Momo? What's the...
I don't think it's not about funny. I feel like if they share things like memes, obviously I'm going to laugh at that. We have, I think men have a sense of humor. Women have a sense of humor. And it's like a Venn diagram. And there's a shared sense of humor.
Hey, brother, Venn diagram. You educated. You LLB.
I think that, I mean, there's a humor that
Momo has a law degree. He just wants us all to remember that he has a law degree. Right.
So I feel like there's a sense of humor that we share. But I personally don't find, for example, just to give an example, I don't find a lot of female comedians quite funny.
But sometimes they use similar jokes that men would use, and that can be, yeah.
That can be okay, but in general...
But I mean, is it because men just like sick, dirty jokes? Is that it?
I think definitely men, obviously, our sense of humor is going to be much more vulgar than women's. Because, you know, it's funny, you only realise that I'm someone who has a lot of female friends, for example.
Cha, you trying to show off? Well, guess who isn't friend zoned then? Just because you've got a lot of female friends, but you're friend zoned.
No, but this is probably this problem is, Chef. Yeah, I'm working on my privilege.
Cha.
You know, me as my male privilege has to be worked upon. Yeah. So to have my male privilege in check, yeah.
What is male privilege? Explain. Do explain. What is male privilege? Just so we all know. I'm trying to understand as well.
It's obviously the patriarchy that exists in society has been set up for men, by men.
Allah.
For men, by men. So
let's just take a quick check. Yep, that includes us.
So that being the case, obviously, it's like, for example, male privilege, I have some issues with the term anyway, but let's say you talk about white privilege, for example. That exists.
Okay.
Yeah, exists, sure?
Sure, of course.
White privilege exists, yeah. So
but I want to make it clear though, but it doesn't mean it exists like everywhere, and it doesn't mean necessarily that they don't have a struggle.
What did we say, Chef? We said that.
Yeah, that they do have a struggle. Because I just want to say, because sometimes there are many kind of white people who, many of our viewers, listeners, followers who are white, and they've, gone through a hell of a lot of struggle in life as well. So because some people understand from that white privilege means that it means this, these people are living it large.
I've made it very clear several
times.
Of
course you have.
I've said white privilege is not to say your life is easy because you are white. It's to say your life will never be made hard because you are white.
Yeah, that I would agree with.
That's
okay, fair enough. Because there are, in the UK, there have been many converts who are white, and they actually have a very difficult time then.
Yeah.
Because the Muslims are a bit distrustful. They're not very... It's not like in America, I've noticed, like, white converts tend to have a much better time. Generally, this is what I hear. Allahu A'lam. But here in the UK, you get some very, poor kind of white converts. They're still living in the States, still living it rough, and they're not. And sometimes they keep hearing this white privilege, and I can understand why it would get to some of them, because they would feel that, what the hell, like, just because I've got less melanin in my skin doesn't, I've not had it any easier at all. I've had it just as tough. So I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, so like that, you're saying male, like, we won't be discriminated against for being men, basically. That won't be one of our difficulties. Yeah. But,
By the way, no, I do have issues with the term. Let's say,
thing, but this is a term that's commonly bounced about, like male privilege is bounced about a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So so these female friends, when they share jokes with you and stuff, or you often you just find it like but
It,
not.
the joke is, and a lot of, again, I think it helps being from a similar age group anyway. So
Yeah.
our kind of memes and meme pages are going to be similar anyway.
Do you not feel that this is designed in that way from an evolutionary perspective, that men having the ability to make women laugh is an evolutionary advantage in order to actually kind of win them, whereas a woman is just attractive for being a woman to a man, but men are not necessarily as equally attractive to women for just being men. Like maybe if they are attractive men, but just being a man isn't necessarily. I don't. Am I speaking wrong here, or am I?
I was speaking about this today actually. Some people are saying that, like, how many times you'll see on the street or whatever a super good looking woman, just an average guy, but you very seldom see the other way around. That a guy will just go for like, oh, she's a good person. It's sad, but it's rarely you'll see that. But like, a woman will feel like,
What do you mean? Are you trying to say women would go for men for being good people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
They go for their personality.
No, not just that.
Women are drawn to personality. They definitely are drawn to personality.
But attraction isn't the be and all. And a guy will never be someone doesn't find attractive. A woman can.
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe what their priorities are different. The focal point is on, oh, I love his personality.
Yeah.
And it's like when they show a picture of like a female model, and they go, well, I bet she's got an amazing personality. Oh, like, well, she would. At that stage, nobody really cares. But what's interesting is that, you see, that is with women that are, let's say, just super beautiful.
Yeah.
That is more so an eminently important factor, but not for long-term relationships. Yeah. Because men who are with women that are, let's say, super attractive, just overwhelmingly gorgeous, but yet they're just so thick or dumb, or you get this common thing that they're this thing of like this profiling of, like, let's say, bimbos or whatever, or things like this, a bit dull, a bit like people. Those relationships don't last very long either, because people are like, well, okay, I've had enough now. I need a bit of brains. So it's more, the looks are very important for men in short term.
Yes.
This is what a lot of studies show as well. In fact, there's a lot of talk about this in the Third Chimpanzee, the book, The Third Chimpanzee. A lot of amazing studies on that. An awesome book, actually. Some people have asked, I think women are much funnier, they just don't want to engage men. Yeah, sure, but I do feel that it's like an evolutionary perspective. Kamal Deen has asked a question about Suratun Nisa, about the word if, and we'll come to that. Just, so not to kind of digress from this, okay, that's because I feel this is interesting, because I know some people have made statements like this in the past and it's been deemed sexist. Yeah. But you feel that even in a younger generation, it still holds true.
Yeah,
it's 100%. Not. Do you feel that women and men can be just friends?
Definitely. It's something that we disagree on. I'm sure we had discussions before.
Okay, so not friends that you've had for years on end because you've always, but from afresh, would there be certain thoughts? Would the guy still be sexualizing the woman?
Of course.
You would as well. You're saying, I mean, not you, the personal you, but your generation you would still.
Yeah, of course.
So you're agreeing they can't just at the underlying factors be.
They won't act on it.
Oh no, that's not the question, my friend. We misunderstand the question. What I mean is platonic friendship, like when guys are friends with guys. Yeah. That's never an underlying factor unless somebody's homosexual. It would never, So it's just, I really like if people don't like people, or they do like them, whatever, it's clear, and they want to hang out with them, or they want to. But with women, or the opposite genders, so for women with men, would there be an underlying sexual, like, would they also sexualize it into whether they act out or not? Like, it could be that, look, they know that, look, I can't do anything anyway because it's a no-go because of X, Y, and Z. But are there ulterior kind of motives also in the background that are sexual?
If you put it like that, then yes. Then no. If that's your definition of a friendship, that's not how I define a friendship.
No, I don't mean, obviously, anybody you could be friends with. Like, you could be, like, so for example, given the opportunity to have sex, let's say they had the opportunity to have sex. It's like, yeah, oh, do you know what? Let's casually have sex. Let's say, given the opportunity. Religion aside, this, like, would they be like, oh, whoa, I never really thought of you. I just friend zoned you. Like, you were only a friend.
I think that it's easier for women to do that than men.
Yeah. Women can very easily, I think, have men friends as friends. But would men be thinking, even if they're not gonna ever say anything, not gonna ever do anything, not gonna kind of act untowardly to this person?
If you're defining friendship as the removal of sexual attraction, then no, then you're not.
That's the question. So the question is, could there be ever, like, that sexual attraction would never enter the radar?
I know, no way. Because even, like, it's funny how even...
Because I know people in my generation would say that it would always enter, generally, a lot of people would say it would enter the radar. Even if it's benign, like, it's not, I mean, it's not kind of in any way harmful, but it would always enter the radar. Until maybe it becomes so normal. So once you see somebody all the time for so often, it just becomes normal. Then you may not think like that. But up until it gets to that stage. But for younger people today say, no, that's like older generation thought. But us young'uns, we you know, we're it's different with us. So is it? I mean,
no, I feel like opposites is true as well. You could be a female friend who's not even very attractive, for example, but after 6 months, 10 months of being on your face a lot of the time, it literally gets to that point where, like, okay, something could happen. But it might not. But I think that's
no, let's say, because what I wanted to say was that it could, even if it doesn't get to, like, let's say there's no action to come out of this. Yeah. But what we're saying is that there is still a sense of attraction.
100%.
It's not 100% friend zoned.
No.
But perhaps more so from the other side, you feel.
More so from the women, definitely, maybe more so.
From the girls.
Yeah.
And hence you've got a lot of female friends. The struggles of being a millennial people, the struggles. How would one propose to their stepsister? Oh, what?
Huh?
What the hell? What the hell? Is that a real question? Right, so somebody saying, right, okay, change that background music. You know, I just want to trial. How does this work? Does it? And it actually works. I was like, no way. All right, I've clocked another. You see, what about something inspirational? I could try to see. Let's see. Let's see, people. All right. Let me just type this in. There you go. All right. I don't know how well this works, but let's see.
Sheikh, I'm gonna have to drop my mother off to work very soon.
Cool. All right. Whoa, that's a bit too loud. We're gonna wrap this up anyway. So I just. Nah.
It's been good. It's been fun.
It's been awesome. Sorry, let me just stop this. I'm just got this going on in the background. I'm just mucking around with it. But yeah, so okay, that's been very. He's an academic. Don't worry about it, Momo. Yeah. So, I don't know. Is that somebody else? Or is that me? Or is that somebody? Oh, is that the questioner? I don't know. People, were there any quick questions? We can wrap this up. Any such topic when I was in my teens? I was asking for a friend. Okay, Mufti, can women and men be together in the same room who are not related? Of
Sheikh,
course.
that's a question. What's the issue of khalwa?
Khalwa. So that is the question that the person has just asked here. That women and men being together in the same room. And from an Islamic perspective, look, of course, women and men can be together in the same room. This is called shared space between the genders. I mean, there's nothing... Yes, there are certain teachings about to prevent, as a preventative measure, that are there. But that's not to mean restrict regular life.
Yeah.
So, like, you could be at work, you could be studying, you could be doing something. But yes, obviously, if a man and a woman are alone in a certain context, like let's say a hotel room, as it so happens at 2 a.m., they're like, what are you doing? Nothing much. I'll tell you what, why don't you come over? I'm just in hotel room. We'll go over a few of the discussions on Sahih Bukhari. Hey, I just got this new الاعتبار في الناسخ والمنسوخ في الحديث. Why do you come over to my hotel room? So this kind of stuff, I feel, obviously, is where the hadith, what they were talking about. Somebody said about bringing video vids. Yep, definitely. I'm looking to bring on video vids, inshallah. As well as other people do. Mufti should stream on Twitch. I'm going to look into that. I'm sure I can set that up, but I thought Twitch was just for gamers. Is Twitch not just for gamers, Momo?
I've never used Twitch in my life.
Come on, man. You're the millennial. We're the go-to millennial.
You know what, Sheikh, I was thinking, it's funny that you said that, like, even I'm feeling my age now. So
you know what it is, though, Momo? You have access to a lot of people who are much older than you.
Yeah, but I'm feeling my age, but even like, okay, I've always been priding myself on being able to be very competent in social media. Mm-hmm. But now there's TikTok now. Everyone uses TikTok these days. I don't know how to work it. It's so difficult.
Yeah, people said to me, get onto TikTok. So I did set up an account, but I haven't done anything yet. Twitch chat, woohoo. I wonder why is the Twitch chat much better, is it? Or is it...
I don't know what it is.
You know what? You're like turning into one of those old uncles now, Momo.
Seriously,
it's like I seem to know more about some of these things than you. That just ain't right.
For the first time in my life, I'm feeling my age. I'm probably feeling my age now. First time in my life.
Okay, but you don't feel that's because of the company.
I do feel like
because you're like a part of several groups. You're like a part of our group. Yeah. So a lot of the lads in our group, there's a few young ones and there's others who are more around my age, kind of.
The youngest, isn't it? Or me and Fahad.
No, yeah, and I think
Mu'adh
is probably the young, but yeah, you guys are the young ones in the group.
But I do feel like
we've had an initiation ceremony. We can't tell you about that. YouTube would end up removing my channel.
I remember in the beginning of this conversation, you said that I met you when I was 16. Obviously, you're what? You're 60 or 14 years older than me.
I thought you said you're 60. What now? I was going to say, acha. Tika, if you just want to shaft me. But if you want to shaft me live, you've been, Tika, I'm an old man, I get it. You're now 62.
You've been 14 years older than me. I feel like it's given me...
For those of you that don't know, Momo, when he was 16, he used to come to our classes and stuff. And so we used to drop him off because obviously he never used to drive. So sometimes they're going to the evenings. And Bichara, some of his poor Miskin Momo, some of his well-wishers, his family, they got worried that is he being groomed because he's having these like grown-up men always bringing him in their cars. And there were different guys that would drop him off. Sometimes guys with big beards. Sometimes like T would drop you off, who's even older than us. So he's like 10 years older than us. So his parents were like, yeah, Momo, we need to have a chat. I don't blame them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if my kid came home with somebody looking double their age, and they say, and you say, who was that? You say, oh, he's my friend. You think, no, you don't have friends who are going to be my age. That's not how friendship works. What do they want in return? Yeah, so...
No, but saying because of that, I think that really helped me mature very quickly.
Yes, because I was going to say that, because if I had access to, somebody had asked a question here that Momo, they'd asked earlier on that, I think it was Zeba had said about how has your life been, Momo's life been influenced by me, as in my teachings or my things. Now, I was going to say this in relation to this thought at hand, that if I had access to people like a social circle of friends when I was, let's say, 18, 19, 20, who were at that stage, like, let's say, much older, who were, because the older they are, they kind of established in some ways in life, like they've kind of, some of them have settled down, some of them are doing business, some of them are working like this, and you just generally don't have access to people. Like, you might have, obviously you've got your father, let's say, but people don't sometimes speak to their father. They don't look up to their father sometimes. They've got issues. You might have uncles, but they're a different kind of generation of thought. Yeah. So I think, if I had access to somebody, to a group, it would have been so, I don't know, like I feel so, wow. But yeah, I mean, so this question, I mean, I wonder how your life has been influenced in that sense, being around us, being around some of the wacky stuff we come out with.
No, but I've learned a lot. I'd say probably the biggest thing that I've learned from you guys, if I'm honest, was like generosity.
Okay, that's interesting. I've never, I was not expecting that.
No, seriously, like I remember, like I've like, and you only realize it when you compare it to other friendship groups. Like I've always, when I was like 16, 17 with you lot, and I would see like one person getting the bill, for example, and money not being the issue. It's like, oh, you got what you wanted? Okay, let's get this. And I was like, how come these people are really generous? If, like, it's not a norm thing for a lot of people.
Okay, wow.
Like, for example, you go to some of my friends, not when I was younger, or even now, you have people who go to a friendship circle, the bill comes, and everyone turns into an accountant, bringing out their phones. Oh, okay, I only got a drink, I only got chicken, I only got this.
But is that their actual friends, or is that like just work colleagues?
Friends.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's very normal for like a lot. And I forget, because I'll be like, I learned from you guys, if I've got money, I'll just put £20 in, or put whatever, I don't really, just kind of whatever it is to make up the bill. But then I realized that you lot are the minority. So I definitely feel like I've learned, and you're probably going to laugh at this, Sheikh, but I think I've learned from you guys tawakkul.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that either, to be honest.
Because you lot are very much like, you always said that Allah will provide. You lot really instilled in me that, don't worry about things, Allah will provide, don't worry. So I feel like that's two things I take away from being around you lot.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm very honored to hear that. I honestly did not, I had no idea you were going to say those things. I've not prepped him or primed him for the... All right, Momo, I'll pay you later, okay? For saying these things. But that is interesting, because I was, just before the lockdown, I was with a friend who was, we were talking about a mutual friend that he knew, and their kind of circles, and this thing of like, that when they go out to kind of meals, this thing of people being very particular about, can everybody put £5, £10 in this thing, and then we're gonna do this, or and for everything, and I can understand if people want to do that with, like, let's say, colleagues or people that they're not necessarily friends with, but just acquaintances. Like, I just know, like, there's 10 people here, why should I pay for these 10 people? I don't even really know them. So I can understand that mentality if people were going to think like that. But these we're talking about close friends, like close friends, and I find that such, like, so wow. And it is strange that there is a culture here, especially in the West, of even though yet people are not necessarily poor here.
Yeah.
But there is an immense culture of, like, counting the pennies.
Yep.
And I've always felt that in a maybe in an inexplicable way, but that leads to a deprivation of barakah. Like I've
100%.
kind of felt that, like there's this thing which is attributed as a hadith that that don't count it unless lest Allah should remove the barakah from it. That there's a hadith that the Prophet said to Aisha that she was about to count something that he brought, and whether the chain is disputed or not, but and he said la tuhsiha fayuhsi Allahu alik. Don't you count it, that lest Allah should take it into counting and thereby deprive it of its kind of blessing and barakah. And I find that seriously so. Somebody said I thought being stingy was a desi thing. I don't know, because I've had mixed experiences. I've had people who sometimes are very tight. I've come across them, but I've come across people generally when it comes to amongst the people they are happy to spend with, they will spend. Like they will spend amongst friends, with family. And I even saw that in places like Pakistan where people didn't have much. Like they didn't have much, but they would feel that, there's a sense of you have to, like, give them something, like hospitality. Like, even if it's, because if people have little, obviously they can only give little, but the concept of let's provide some, tea, water, whatever it is, some fruit, something. But this thing of a person who's come here should never feel that I've not, given them something,
Exactly.
as a sense of hospitality. And I feel that is also something so missing from, maybe not all, but many Western kind of social circles and people's lives. I feel, especially in the West, that they feel that it's no big deal. Like I used to always find it really strange as you probably, I don't know whether you found this strange, because your background, because one, you would have had more of an opportunity to experience it being in very mixed circles, but your background at the same time is Gambian, so there's there's a rich culture still there.
Yeah.
But me as a kid, when I went, like a lot of my friends were Desi anyway, but the few, let's say, white friends, or sometimes there were some black friends, that let's say we went into their homes and things like this. We had this thing, and even right up until growing up, even later on, like when if I've got this thing of like you could come to my house now, and I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm just making myself a cup of tea, and then I'll just sit here, and then I'll just have it, and you'll just sit there, and I don't even now want that tea, but I'm feeling so awkward about I don't know, like I just feel like like I just felt awkward all of a sudden, and now I'm trying to mask and hide the awkwardness because it's so normal for me to like that you wouldn't be able to have something. Like I could not have food if other people were not going to have food. I could not sit here and have food. I would then just like not have food until they go.
Yeah.
Or we would all have food. Like it's not like food is something like it's 100% no. Like I could never do that. With a drink, if I said to you, would you like some tea? And you said, no, I'm not going to have it. And I said, look, are you sure? Let me make you a soft drink then. How about a cold drink? And I'll stress it. And if you said nothing, okay, I could still maybe have a drink then if you've declined it without you. But I could not do that with food. I could not like sit here and eat. I'll be like, look, you have to have, no, okay, tea, I'll have it later on. It doesn't matter. Like it's not, because that's just, to me, so I don't know, like I find it so disrespectful. I don't know, like
amongst with English, for example.
Yeah, like I saw that in when I would go sometimes as a guest somewhere, and people would just sit down and they would just be like, "Oh, don't mind me, I'm just eating," and I've just got my, and they wouldn't even be, they wouldn't say, and I don't want the food, but there wouldn't be an offer anyway.
Yeah.
It'd be like, who's asking anyway? But then I would get, I don't know why I would get awkward, like feel like I feel awkward now, like now don't ask, I don't know, like I don't know why I would feel that. I would become really conscientious of this. So yeah, but that is so weird though. Cool, man. People, we've gone on for quite a bit of a while.
Yeah.
Right, so let's wrap this up. So, guys, you've been awesome. I've got quite a few comments here. Memon are the Pakistani versions of Gujis in India. Okay. People have asked, what is Momo specializing in Al Azhar? He is studying different sciences. He's looking to specialize. What are you looking to specialize in, Momo? There's Sharia, I take it. Sharia, yeah. He has a keen interest in things like Maliki fiqh and Sharia studies, generally Hadith studies. He's looking into a lot of these kind of things. Okay, and some of the other questions, we'll explain them later on. Somebody's asked about Nafs al-Lawama. I think tomorrow's guest, we'll try and get him on much earlier. He's a very senior figure within the UK. By the way, somebody said, I feel like Momo fake laughs with Mufti. Momo, you harami.
The thing is that
he's just tired, people. You know what it is? There's people at his house. He doesn't want to wake them up.
Exactly.
Right, that's all it is. Trust me, this guy is an 100% certified harami. Do not go by the innocence. I'm telling you. Okay. So, yeah, but speaking of more pious people, we've got Sheikh Sidi Iqbal, who is a legend. One of the most, I feel, senior ulama within the UK, within the Western world, incredibly intelligent, very well versed. I'm going to try and get him on tomorrow night, so do tune in for that. Other than that, people, you know the drill. Remember to like, share.
Get it out there.
This is from Momo, so I'm going to bid you all farewell. Take very good care of yourselves. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, people. And Momo, likewise from you as well.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum, guys.